All right. So good morning once again. I posted a file in our modules. Where's our modules here? Modules. Okay. And it's a 1.8 RMD files and data structures Mark 23. It's an R Markdown file. You see here the point.rmd. This signifies that this is an R Markdown file. So may I request you to please open the file? Okay. Why did the file close? So by way of review, guys, last time we started, what we did in our class was to download the R software and the R Studio software. So today we're going to continue our discussion, and hopefully by the end of the day you'll have a better appreciation and a better understanding of what R and R Studio can do. I'm going to share with you some very important sites, okay, so that will help you appreciate more and understand more what are our studio, and particularly the our documents like the RMD file can do. Okay, so let me just share the link. There are several sites, guys, that we can use. So I'm not going to anymore go to them in detail. I would that you look at these sites and study on your own, because the subject is really all about data analysis. So we will be focusing on the application. But it's important for us, of course, because you're required to submit several outputs, and the format that you're going to submit is an R notebook format. So you should know how to generate an R notebook from R Studio. Okay, so first let me share with you this very definitive guide, the R Markdown definitive guide, authored by Yui Xie, Allaire, and Grolmund. Okay, so let me share the link in the chat box. Okay, so kindly open that. We're going to look at this very quickly, and I would that you save the site and go through this. There are a lot of chapters here, 19 all in all, 19 chapters. But many of these, guys, you're not going to use. There are some chapters here that are very important, which I would like to encourage you to go over this weekend. Kindly study it so that you have a better feel of what R Markdown and R Notebook can do. Okay, so first, how to read this book. This is just a guide on how you can go through the book. Okay, so just go over this. I would like more to focus on installation. We already know how to install. We have already installed R and R Studio. Now, when you're using R, as I mentioned last time, there are several packages that we can use. Okay, packages consist of codes that are specifically helpful to a particular field. For example, in the mathematics, there are packages on math. In physics, there are packages on physics or chemistry or the social sciences. In economics and in finance, there are packages. that were contributed by different groups or different individuals. That's and that's used in order to facilitate or make easier the computation of let's say financial units or financial measures or economic measures. So packages are very important, and that's what makes our studio very robust. Okay, it's a growing field, and there are already the latest count. I think there are almost 2,000 packages. So imagine at your disposal, guys, 2,000 packages, about 2,000 packages. Of course, not everything will be useful for you because some are for specific fields, like for the health sciences. And since we're not engaged in the health sciences, or maybe ecology or chemistry, they might not be in particular helpful to us. But there are several packages on statistics, on economics, on econometrics, on finance that are really very helpful to us. So in the course of this subject, you'll be exposed to several packages that you will find to be very, very helpful, and it will facilitate learning, it will facilitate computation. So how do you install packages? If you take a look at this, the code to install packages is install that packages. For example, our Markdown is a package, okay? But actually you don't need to install this. This already comes with our studio, okay? So, but let's, for the purposes of learning how to install packages, let's just copy this, Control-C, and open the R Markdown file that I shared with you, okay? So this is our Markdown that we're going to look at today. So you can remember this is an R Markdown file, and codes should be written in a code chunk like this. And if you recall, guys, we studied last time how do we create a code chunk. There are several ways to do it. One is using the insert button here, insert R, or the shortcut is Control Alt I, right? Control Alt I, or for Mac, I think it's Command. What's it? Command. Is there an Command Alt I think, or anyone using Mac? Could you please tell me what's the keyboard shortcut in introducing or in generating a code chunk for Mac? Anyone, please? It's yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's Command Option I. Okay, it's not Control Alt I, but rather it's Command plus Option plus I. Thank you, Lee. Thank you so much. Okay, so we can type it here in the script window, or you can type it here in the console window. If you don't want, for example, that code to appear in your in your script window, which the codes here are the ones that will be printed when we generate the output. But here, it will not be printed. So if I, for example, if I copy that, install that packages, R Markdown. So you can use a single quote or double quotes. Okay. Control Enter. Okay, so it will install that package. Now you install packages only once. So when you have installed this package, it will now appear in the library of your packages. And then when you use it, you will have to also generate the code library, and then R Markdown. Okay, that's the only time you can use a particular package. Okay, so let me wait for the package to be installed. Okay, if you want to know if that package is currently installed in your R, okay. All right, so it tells me here that one or more of the packages that will be uploaded by this installation are currently loaded. Restarting R prior to updating these packages is strongly recommended. Okay, so but I won't anymore. I won't run this because this has already been installed in my R. So let me just cancel that. Kindly cancel that also. But okay, once you have installed the package, in order for you to access that package, you have to use library and then R Markdown. So that's the way to go about it. Okay. So for example, in this particular file, we're going to make use of R Markdown. Then if you haven't installed it, you have to use this install that packages, R Markdown, and then after it's installed, you have to write the code library R Markdown. Or another way to write this is require. Okay, require R Markdown. Same thing. Okay, either library R Markdown or require R Markdown for you to be able to use the package. All right. Okay, so before we go here, guys. Okay, so let me go back here once again. So just quickly, guys, go to this one. Okay, so basics. There are, I would that you look at this example applications. There are several companies that already make use of our Markdown. For example, Airbnb. Okay, we won't go here anymore, but I wish that you would look into this. Then we have, you can use R Markdown for your journal articles. In fact, for your paper, because you can use R Markdown, as I mentioned last time, to write books. Particularly, you can use the book down package, which is a great help in writing books. Then you can also create dashboards, okay, and even websites. So a lot of application in the use of R Markdown. Okay. Now, there are also cheat sheets available. Cheat sheets are guides. Okay, so if I click this, cheat sheets, okay, and then I go to the R Studio resources, cheat sheets. So let me open this link. It will lead you to R Studio. Okay, and then here you have several cheat sheets. If you go down below here, you have a cheat sheet for ggplot2. ggplot2 is what we're going to use by hopefully by next week, because this is our first subject. This is data visualization. We're going to learn how to plot data, visualize data using what we call the grammar of graphics. That's where this name comes from. Grammar of graphics plot. Okay, and we'll explain next meeting what this grammar of graphic means. So this is also for data transformation for structured query language, a dplyr cheat sheet. You can download this, guys. You can download this. Several cheat sheets available, the per package, string R, etc. So in the course of our subject, we're going to make use of some of these packages. So this is dynamic documents with R Markdown. You can download this. There, if you download it, you'll be given a PDF file. Okay, so if we open the PDF file, let me open the PDF file. Okay, these are guides, okay, that you can use when you're generating an R Markdown file. Okay, it's quite instructive. All right. Okay, so here, for example, set output formats and their options in the YAML. Okay, so this is our metadata. Remember, guys. So if you want to generate an output, which is an HTML document, this is the code. Okay, output. For the output, you have HTML_document. So if you recall, guys, this one, output, then HTML_document. If you want this to be PDF, then you just change it with PDF. If you want this to be a notebook, then you'll put here notebook. Okay. So again, there's a slight difference between in R Markdown, okay, and an R notebook. One of the difference is that in the YAML, if you want an R Markdown, you have to write here HTML_document. Okay, for a notebook, it's HTML_notebook. There are some differences between an R Markdown and an R notebook. R Markdown, guys, it's more for if you want to share your output to let's say decision makers. You're creating a report, and if you want to share that to decision makers, to the bosses, to the supervisors, then you usually generate an R Markdown output. But if you want to share it with the collaborators, for example, you as a group, you're working on a project, and you want your group mates, for example, to also be able to insert on your code, okay, then it's preferable that you use an R notebook, okay. And then so we're going to learn this these nuances as we go along. Okay, let me pause for a while. So far, guys, are we okay? How's my speed? How's the pace that we're doing, guys? Is it okay?
Okay lang po, sir. Clear so far.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So these guys are very useful. Okay, take note that when in your report, guys, in your output, you're going to make use of an R Markdown and an R notebook. So it's very important for us to be knowledgeable about how we can use the YAML, the metadata. Another name for YAML is the metadata in order to generate our outputs. You can, in fact, insert citations, okay, bibliography. So it's just like generating a report in Word, because in Word you can automate your table of contents. Here you can also do that. You can generate your table of contents in an R Markdown. Okay, so let me go back to our reference here. Okay, so that's our cheat sheet. Output formats, guys. Okay, let's go here, output formats. So there are several outputs that we can use in our Markdown. You can have presentation. And in presentations, you can have the Beamer type, the IO slides type. You can have a PowerPoint presentation also, or a slidey presentation. Okay, so different presentation documents, different documents. You can have a PDF document, you can have a Word document, rich text format document, a LaTeX document, etc. So GitHub document also. So there are different documents that we can generate, okay, out of the R Markdown. Okay, take a look at this code, guys. Okay, so here the output, then HTML document, then this one, guys, TOC, table of contents, is equal to true. So when you do this, guys, you'll have an output where you have the table of contents, TOC depth, which means 2 means the table of contents can have, for example, Roman numeral number 1, and then below it is either A or 1.1. Okay, so that's a depth of 2. The default is 3. Okay, so which means Roman numeral number 1, then A, then a number 1. Okay, so those 3 layer of table of contents. So that's for your. You can also use a theme. Okay, the theme will give you it's more of the look of the output. Okay? And there are several themes that you can make use of. Okay, so a lot of things that you can use, guys. In fact, you can also use math expressions. So in our subject, guys, will be, for example, in our linear regression, you'll have to print, for example, mathematical equations like regression equations. In our Markdown, that's very easy to use. Imagine, guys, in generating this in Word, you can generate this in Word, of course. The Word now has this mathematical equation function, and just like in our Markdown, you can do this. So, for example, just see the distinction: inline LaTeX equations. So it's called LaTeX because it's this software that provided tools in order to generate equations in a document. So that's called LaTeX. Okay, They pronounce it as latex and not latex. Latex. So for example, if you're going to write an inline equation, what's an inline equation? It's an inline in a sentence. For example, you have a sentence and you want to put an equation in the sentence itself. Then you notice here, guys, that you first have a dollar sign and then a dollar sign at the end. Okay. So if you have this code, okay, then it will appear as such, like this. F of k is equal to n taken k at the time, p to the k 1 minus p raised to the n minus k. This is a mathematical expression. Now, if you want it, guys, centered, okay, this is centered, okay, which means that it's written as a display. It's written as a display here. Then you will have to write, this, okay, double dollar, okay, double dollar, and then end it with a dollar. So as a practice, why don't we copy this? Okay, let's just copy this. So I hope you have your R Markdown open. Control C. Okay, and then why don't we copy the whole sentence? Okay, let's copy the whole sentence here. Control C. Let's just see what happens if we generate this. All right, then Control V. Okay. So take note, it's not in a code chunk. Okay, because this is part of the text. Okay. So if you notice, guys, this is the mathematical expression that we used. And then this, okay. Notice that it appears here. Okay, see this, guys? Can you see the this object f sub k is equal to n k p to the k 1 minus p to the k. Okay, so it appears here in the line itself. Now, on the other hand, if we want this to be centered, if we want to have this centered, then we have to use this function. There has to be a double. Okay, see the difference, guys? The double dollar there, okay? The double dollar generated this centered output. Okay, see? So this matters because in your report, in your output, it depends on how you want to show your equation. Okay, for example, if you want it in this way, then you will have to use this text with the double dollar, okay, so that it generates, when you knit this, when you print this, then it will generate this kind of an output. Okay, clear so far, guys? Clear ba yung mathematical expressions in our Markdown? Okay, if you just want the equation to be inline, okay, just use a single dollar sign and then use the proper code. But if you want the equation to appear as a centered one outside the sentence itself, in a bigger font, okay, then this is the way to go. Okay, let me pause for a while, guys. Are we clear on this? Kindly chat, please, guys. If so far we're clear. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's good. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to our reference. Okay, I find this, guys, to be really helpful. This book by Yue, this R Markdown, a definitive guide. It really is a big help as far as knowing how to make use of R Markdown. Okay, then you have also here some information about R code chunks. Okay, so we know this already. Control Alt I, and for Mac it's Command Option I. So in an R Markdown, you have to put it here in a code chunk. Okay, because if not, then it will not run. Okay, here are some examples. Now you can also use, we can also use figures. Okay, figures. For example, you can plot figures, and also, okay, this one, guys, is an image. Okay, so we can also put images, just like in Word, guys. When you can copy an image and put it in a Word file, you can also do that. Okay, you can also put images in an R Markdown. So, for example, in your outputs, guys, if you need to put a plot or if you need to put an image, you can do that. Okay, you can do that. Lots of things you can do. Figures and tables, and even GIF GIF, guys. Let's see. Let's have an example. Let's look for examples. Putting GIF in R Markdown. Sorry, I forgot to. Okay, insert GIF in PDF using R Markdown. Okay. Create animation in multiple R plots. Okay, maybe this one, or maybe this one. Let's just have an example. Okay, the code is not shown here. Let me find another example. This one, how to insert GIF in R Markdown with the code. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this is the code, guys, that you use. So you have the exclamation point and then this bracket. You have to the name. For example, if you want to give a name to your GIF, and then this is where your GIF is found, either in a website or in a file, as a file. So you can use it as a file, or you can use it as a you can link it to an internet site. So let's see, it's a table. Let me find an example. Okay, I can't find an example here, but guys, you know what I mean, guys. You know what a GIF document is. It's an animated figure. So I leave you guys to look for examples, but the code itself, as I mentioned a while ago, is this one. Control C, and then here. Okay, so exclamation point, and then name of the GIF, if you want to give it a name, and then here you have to link it to whether it's a URL, or if it's a it's a file existing residing in your computer, then you will have to identify the location of that file. So with that, guys, you can as I mentioned a while ago, you can incorporate or include images in your R Markdown, and that's very important because when you print this, when you knit this, then those images will appear. Okay. All right. Is that clear, guys? Okay. Let's try it. Let's see our Studio GIF. Look for an R Studio GIF. Okay, this and And in fact, you can create, okay, you can create a GIF in R. Okay, but we won't go there. But if you're interested, guys, there are packages. I think it's one of the package that's used is Magic, MAGICK. It's used for okay, let's see this. It's taking long. Okay, were you able to find one, guys? Okay, it's taking some time for me to access this. Any one of you was able to find a GIF? Anyone? Could you, if possible, could you kindly share the link in our chat box? Hello, everyone.
Sir, I was able to get one. I was able to run it in R also.
Could you share the GIF site, please? The URL. Thank you.
Okay, I got it from Wikipedia lang.
Sige lang, sige. Paki-share yung yung
Here pa.
Angel. Ayan, sige. I-ano natin, guys. Copy the GIF of shared by Angel. Okay, sabi niya she was able to run it. Okay, copy natin. Okay. And then later on, guys, and then what did you do, Angel, to run this?
I just input the code po, yung exclamation point, and then open and close parentheses. And then I put the name of the GIF and then .gif.
And then?
It's appearing na.
Lumalabas na, no?
Globe that's rotating.
Okay.
Hindi po yung URL mismo. Like I had to download.
Yung file mismo.
Apa.
Okay, sige. So that's also one way, but you can also actually link it using the URL. Okay, so maybe you can explore that, guys. So Angel, thank you so much. So what Angel did was to download the GIF itself, and then linink mo yung kung saan nakasave yung GIF dito.
Apa.
Okay, so those are two ways, guys. You either link it to the site. Okay, that's one way, or what you do is you download the GIF and then write the location of the GIF here. Okay, so I leave that, guys, to you for your practice. Okay, so let's go back to what we were looking at. Okay, saan na tayo? Okay. All right. What's good about our Markdown, guys, is that although we're not going to use this, you can use codes from Python, from SQL, from C, Julia. These are softwares, and you can incorporate these types of code in our Markdown. Remember, guys, when we start a code chunk in R, we always start with R, right? We always start with this one to indicate that this is coming from, this code is in R. But if it's Python, then you write here Python there, or any other software like C++. Okay, so this is very dynamic because it can accept different language, different softwares. Okay. All right. So Let's go back once again here. All right, then you can actually create interactive documents, okay, like shiny documents. Okay, we won't go there now. So this is very important to us, the documents. 3 and 3.2 here, the notebook. So we won't have really time to go through this, but it's very important that that you read through this, guys. Okay. So I already mentioned this a while ago. This is our YAML. Okay. 3 dashes. This is our YAML. This will dictate how your document will look like. Okay. The title, the author, the date, and the output. And of course, you can put here, you can add more. For example, table of contents, TOC, true. TOC depth, 2. Okay. So you can also, for example, you can also have a floating TOC, table of contents. Now, why don't we just a quick practice on that? Okay. So for example, let's open an R document, R Markdown, or an R notebook. Let's see, R notebook. Okay, here I open an R notebook, guys. All right, and there's this existing a sample, and then why don't we copy the table of contents here? Control C, Control V. Okay, so here we're adding to the YAML or to the metadata, okay, a table of contents. But how do you do that table of contents, guys? So this one, the hashtag, guys, let me show that. Okay. What's the hashtag? Okay, so let's see, is it section numbering? Section numbering. Okay, not that. Tab section. Okay, where is that? Let me see the syntax. Okay, here, guys. Under the black level elements. Okay, so you can divide your R Markdown into several sections. So here we have section headers can be written after a pound number of pound sign. First level header. So this is the main header. 2 means second level header, and the third one is a third level header. Actually, it can be up to 6 levels. So you know when you write outlines, right? You have section 1. The main sections will be section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And under section 1, you might have an A, and then under A you will have a 1, etc. So these are your levels. Okay, so let's try to practice. Okay, so here are some other black levels, guys. This is very important. Okay, so just go through this, guys. If you put a dash, okay, then what will happen? You'll have this. Then you have ordered, okay, etc. So I leave you guys to look at this. This is, as I said, guys, this is a very important reference. So you'll be needing this when you write your output, when you write your project, guys, because we're going to, as I mentioned, have been keep on saying this, that we're going to make use of our Markdown. So for example, this one is introduction to our Markdown. Let's just invent. Okay, so this one is, let's say number 2. Okay, running chunks. It's an example. Okay, and then here, say another one, plots. Okay. Anyway, this is just an example. And this is 2. Flat chunk, for example. Then number 3, saving flat chunk. Okay, I'm just inventing here. Okay, so this is our example of an R notebook. Then you find here that we're saying that there should be a table of contents, etc. And then let me, if we run everything, okay, so let's run all chunks, run everything. Why is it running? Okay. Medyo matagal lang, no? Mag-run. Okay, pause muna ako guys. Nag-run ba sa inyo? Paki-chat naman please kung nag-run yung plot ng cars. This is a data set that comes with R. Okay, thank you, Angel. How about the rest, guys? John, salamat. Mark, thank you. Ken, Mark, Lee. Okay, good. Lance. Salamat, guys. Ha? I hope the others are able to follow. Kasi guys, if I'm going too fast, Jonas, thank you. Please, no? Please tell me to repeat whatever I need to repeat. No? It's very important that we have, Marg, salamat, Marga. It's very important that we have a solid background about this. Okay, now when we do that now, guys, let's make the default preview in viewer pane, and then notice, guys, one difference between a notebook and an R Markdown is that pag R Markdown, we have to knit it in already. Dito naman sa notebook, you can preview it first. So let's preview this. Sandali ah. Let me preview. Okay, so dito lang. Bakit dito niya sinasave? Let me save it in here. Just write note 1. Okay. Save. Okay. Nag-halt. Okay, nag-run ba sa inyo, guys? Error in the YAML, no? Scanner error, mapping values are not allowed in this okay. At line 3, column 8. Line 3, column 8. Okay, so okay, we might need to find out what this error is about, no? Hindi siya ano, no? It's not knitting, it's not kasi this needs to run in order for us to view this. Okay, so let's leave that for a while, guys. I'm not sure about what mistake we had here, but this should, I've used this several times. Nag-run naman siya. I don't know what's happening now. Nag-run ba sa inyo, guys? Same error. Okay. So let's leave that for a while, guys. I will have to decipher what was a mistake. But when if this runs, guys, dapat lalabas yung I wanted to show you what the TOC float is all about. So I think I have an example here. Let me see. I'm looking for an example. Here, okay. So ito, guys, example to ng ng output ng notebook. You can find here, guys, ito yung table of contents siya. That's floating siya. So this is what will happen if you have a table of contents true and then table of contents float true. Yan, ito, no? So maybe I'll share this with you. This is just an R notebook example, Control C. Kindly just copy the link, guys. And then maybe you can explore that also. Yeah, that's the link, no, to our example. So this one. So this is an example of our notebook. Yung may mga mathematical expressions siya dito. Okay. Tingnan nyo, guys, no? Naka table of contents, tapos naka depth siya ng dalawa. There. So this is an example of an R notebook. Yan, with the table of contents floating on this side. The default is naka-float siya on the left side. Okay, so you can see, guys, this is a very, very good output as compared to if you're going to use Word. Kasi andito na, guys, yung code. So this is very helpful. This is now the in thing as far as programming. We call it literal programming. Literal programming is concerned. Kasi you have the code and you can have the output. Makikita mo kagad, no? So this is also important as far as reproducible outputs are concerned. Kasi if you're going to share this with somebody, so pwedeng magamit ng the person whom you shared it with can also run your codes, no? A more complete introduction. Ito yung sa kay Yuhei, no? Okay. All right. So let's go back, guys, to our reference. Just a few more discussions about this. Okay. So chapter 3, guys. Chapter 3. We don't have to look at everything, guys, no? But for example, appearance and style. Okay. Saan natin makikita yung appearance and style? So ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, yung theme. You can specify the theme. Okay, yung theme na to, guys, it's actually from Boots Watch theme library. You can open this, guys, makikita nyo iba't ibang klaseng themes, no? So ang default niya, it can include Bootstrap, Cerulean, Cosmo, etc., Flatly, Journal. So iba't ibang klaseng theme. You may wish to look at that, guys, and see how you want your output to look like. So pwede natin i-identify kung anong appearance. For example, ito, theme United. Tapos may highlight din, Tango. Okay, so what's the highlight all about? Specifies the syntax, highlighting style. Supported styles include default, Tango, etc. Okay. All right. So itong cost of CSS, what's the meaning of CSS? Ano to sa web design, no? I forgot the name of CSS. Anyone of you exposed to web design? So this is very important kasi pinapadali nito, guys, yung sa output, no? Especially sa web design. Ginagamit din dito yan sa sa our Markdown. Okay? So I forgot the meaning of CSS, but it's used in web design. And then you have figures, no? Figure options. Pwedeng i-identify natin yung output natin. Pwedeng ano yung width, ano yung height niya, tapos kung may caption ba siya. Okay, all in the YAML. So all of these, guys, are placed in the YAML. Tapos may page printing pa, no? This is very important, especially guys, kung may mga data kayo na isasama. Okay, take note guys, tingnan nyo to, no? So, there are how many? 32 rows here. Okay, so ito ano siya guys, hindi dito kasi hindi ito yung document eh. So pwede natin makita yung several data, no? Na hindi lahat pinapakita. Kasi if there are 32 rows, di ba? Ang laki-laki nun, di ba? It will occupy so much space. But in our notebook file, our Markdown file, pwede yung data natin naka-table, no? Ayan, no? Naka-page siya, no? So this is data frame, print, naka-page siya. Ayan. So page 1, page 2, page 3. So this is very good, very convenient if you have a long table, okay? A long table. Okay, so and others guys, so marami pa tayong maaam dito. But for your purposes guys, hindi naman lahat kailangan, no? Ang importante lang, for example, maybe the theme, syempre yung table of contents, and if you're writing mathematical equations, kailangan alam natin yon. Okay? All right, and here you can learn how to print it in a PDF. And ito guys yung notebook natin. Let me go here, notebook. Okay, and our notebook is an R Markdown document. Okay, however, ang difference siya, yung mga chunks niya can be executed independently and interactively with output visible immediately beneath the input. Okay, so that's the difference between an R Markdown and an R notebook, no? Sa pagprint. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina guys, no? Our notebooks are an implementation of literate programming that allows for direct interaction with R while producing a reproducible document with publication quality output. Okay, so that's why guys, as I said guys, learn this even in your thesis in the future guys. You can make use of this. Imagine instead of just using a Google Doc, no? A Google Doc, ang advantage din nun, everyone can access it, and then they can make the necessary changes there. Pero hindi kayo pwede maglagay ng code doon, diba? Hindi kayo pwede mag-run ng code doon. Sa R Markdown guys, okay, pwede nyo ito ilagay not in Google Drive but what we call in a GitHub, no? Meron na nga yung tinatawag na Git or GitHub. So yung GitHub yun guys, very powerful din yun, no? It's something that maybe in the future you might wish to learn. Okay, kasi yung GitHub guys, parang siya yung Google Drive na analogy. Kaso guys, mas ang GitHub, GitHub, it's really used for coding. Okay? And it's a lot powerful than just an R Markdown or an R notebook. Kasi sa GitHub guys, you can see there yung evolution ng document nyo. Kasi siya mismo yung nagdo-document ano yung mga changes na ginawa na, no? So, but we won't go there, guys. Okay, so these are just examples. Okay, and there are lots of things, other things here. Meron dito presentations. Siguro pag nag-report kayo, kung gusto niyo gumamit dito ng either slide presentation or let's see, or pwede kayong gagawa tayo nga pala ng dashboards, guys, ha. This is very interesting. Kasi gagawa tayo ng dashboards using our studio. Okay. So marami different types of presentations. Okay. So a lot. Pwedeng gumawa ng website. So ito yung sinasabi kong books, guys. Those of you who would want to later on generate books. Ito guys, ito. Itong tinitingnan natin na to. This was generated using Markdown. Yan, di ba? It's a book, guys. It's a book. It's a digital book. Tapos ito, lahat ang ginamit dito, yung, of course, our Markdown, tapos yung Markdown. Okay? All right, so let's go back to our studio. Okay. Ito guys, hindi pa crafted to in such a way na ano, no? Siguro one of the things that you can do is to also convert this in such a way na maging R notebook siya, no? Kasi hindi ko pa ginagamit dito yung mga blocks, no? Okay, but anyway guys, let's go here. Okay, so we're going to start formally our lesson on R Markdown and what R can do. So this is just a brief introduction to R Markdown. It combines R Markdown. Okay, ano naman yung R Markdown, guys? Easy to write plain text format. So ang R Markdown actually, guys, pagsusulat yan, no? And then sila UA, they wrote an R Markdown package that can be used for R with embedded R code chunks. Okay, so yun ang difference ng R Markdown sa Markdown lang. Kasi ang Markdown lang, pang plain text lang yun. Ang R Markdown, pwede na tayo maglagay ng R code chunks. In fact, other code chunks, no? So when we compile an R Markdown document, the code components can be evaluated so that both the code and its outputs can be included in the final document. Yun ang napakagandang advantage ito. Andun na yung code, andun pa yung output, no? So this makes analysis reports highly reproducible. Ito importante, guys. No? Reproducible. Anyone who you're sharing this document with, pwede niyang masundan yun, pwede niyang magawa din yun. Okay? By allowing to automatically regenerate them with the underlying R code or data changes. Okay? And then it can be printed or rendered to various formats, including HTML, PDF. Okay, an R Markdown has an extension RMD file. Okay, si notebook iba naman, no? NB HTML, notebook HTML siya. Okay, so paano ba rin-render to? Paano ba print to? Ang ginagamit talaga niyan, guys, neat R package. Okay, so may steps yan, no? May steps yan, but we don't need to go into it. Okay, now, so this will actually be the first formal lesson na gagawin natin, no? Yung really understanding what R and RStudio can do. So, since this is data analysis, yung unang lesson natin will be formal lesson, no? Kasi lesson naman yung kanina. No? Our first formal lesson will be data classes and data structures, different types of data. And it's important to have a very strong understanding of basic data types and data structures and how we operate them, how we manipulate them. Okay, remember last time we created an object called X, which is yung naalala niyo yung R norm natin. Lahat sa R, guys, is an object. Okay, so there are different data classes. So ang data classes natin, it can be numeric. No? This is numeric, guys, 12.6. Numeric can be either decimal, okay, or it can be an integer, no? Okay, so ano yung difference sila? Alam natin, guys, yung integer, no? These are numbers that's used for counting. So if we want to specify if a number is an integer, we can attach the L here, 2L, no? So 10L, pag makita mo 5L, integer yan. But when you see 12.6, numeric yan, ibig sabihin may decimal yan. Or another name for it is double. Okay? So, pwedeng quantitative yung data, and quantitative can be numeric, which means may decimal siya, or integer, wala siyang decimal. Or a data can be character. So, pwede siyang qualitative, no? Pag qualitative naman, character siya. For example, yan, male. So, tapos sa R, pag character, kailangan naka-quotes yan. Yan, ito. Inside quotation marks. Okay, whether single or double. Okay, and then logical, okay, true or false. And then it can be a complex number. If you recall in your algebra, you have a real number plus an imaginary number, 3 plus 2i. We call it a complex number. If you recall, I hope you recall that I is equal to the square root of -1, di ba? Kasi wala naman talagang square root of -1. So in algebra, it's denoted as I. Then it can be a date. Okay? All right. I forgot something before we continue with our data classes. Let me Okay, let me get to our console. Now, it's also important where we save our documents. So first things first, guys, can you write this sa console natin? Get working directory. I want to discuss this already. Get working directory. Okay, what do you find in your get working directory function? Okay, could you kindly chat please kung ano yung nakikita? I want to see what you have there in that code. Downloads folder, JLTIN documents, okay? Documents, okay? Downloads. Yung iba nasa downloads, yung iba nasa documents. Okay? For Mark naman, siguro nasa folder niya to. Okay. All right, good. So, iba-iba, no? Iba-iba. Usually, yung default na working directory is where you downloaded your R. No? Okay, but in order for us to be uniform, guys, I want us to do something. No? We're going to create an object, a folder in R, okay? And then I want you to make that as our working directory. So, para pare-pareho tayo ng working directory, siguro what we can do is, punta kayo guys sa sa desktop na lang, no? Okay. So, let me go to my desktop here, desktop. There. And create a folder, tapos so that we're the same, called R projects. Yan, dito, no? So please create a folder. Sa desktop nyo, create a folder, R projects. There. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another one, new. Sige, para sa akin to guys ha. Sa inyo guys, R projects. Sa akin, I'm going to R projects. Trial lang, no? R projects trial. Okay, so I have created this folder, our projects trial. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the link to this. Yung path niya. No? So if you highlight that, if you click that, can you see guys in your home, makikita nyo ba yung copy path na yan? Okay. Can you see it guys, yung copy path?
Yes po.
Okay, thank you. So, can we find it here? Okay, wala siya dito, no? Sa properties banda doon. Okay, andito din siya, no? Andito yung location niya. But yung shortcut niyan, guys, copy path. And then let's go back to R. So what we're going to do is we're going to change. I-change natin yung working directory natin, no? Kasi kanina yung get, let me repeat that, get working directory ko. So my default working directory is nasa project siya, no? Nasa desktop projects. If I want to change this, then we use this code set wd, okay? And then ikakopy ko yung path, no? Yung path ng folder, ito. All right. Now, you notice guys na set working directory and it gives us the path. Now, R does not recognize yung backward slash, no? So, mare-recognize yan kung either you make it double backward slash or easier guys kung gawin na lang natin forward slash. isang forward slash. Tingnan nyo guys, nung nag-set ako ng nag-get working directory ako, ang ginagamit niya forward slash. So AC Windows ang ginagamit backward slash. So let me replace this by forward slash. Otherwise guys, mag-error tayo, hindi babasahin ni R. Okay, so I'm now setting my working directory. Okay, set working directory. There, projects, trial, control enter. Okay. Ngayon, if I want to see now my working directory, get WD, get working directory, control enter. You notice guys, ano nangyari? Ito na guys yung working directory ko. Ibig sabihin guys, pag nagsa-save tayo ng mga outputs natin sa R, ito na yung default kung saan niya isa-save yon. Okay, now that's very important kasi later on, okay, minsan sa dami-dami ng files, okay, sa dami-dami ng files, minsan you could have saved it in another location. So bear in mind that it's best to maintain this working directory, one working directory. Tapos, ang gagawin natin dyan later on, mag-create tayo ng projects. Okay, what do I mean by projects? Under this, okay, ibabalik ko na sa ano ko ibabalik ko na sa dati kong set working directory. I just use that guys. Okay, sandali. Check na muna natin. Okay, so di ba andi dito na yung working directory ko? If I go to tools, no? Tools and then let's see global options. Okay, what do you see here guys? Okay, nakalagay dito 'di ba yung default working directory ko, no? Okay, so ito yung default working directory ko. Now I notice guys na kapag when we just do it in the console, okay, it does not automatically change. So kung gusto niyo talagang i-change talaga yung working directory, okay, ayaw niya lumabas, okay? Nawala. Tools, global options. Okay. Dito maganda guys gawin, no? Dito sa global options natin. Dito. Default working directory. Okay? All right. I just showed that to you guys. Okay. So, now when we create projects, when we create files guys in R, it's very important that we create a project, no? So how do we do that? So let's go to file. Okay, ito guys, no? File and then new project. Okay, new project. Don't save muna. File. Okay. So ito guys, no? Create a project, no? So ang gagawin natin guys, kasi oftentimes pag ang kagandahan ng linalagay natin siya sa project kasi it will automatically save there, no? So you can create a new project, new directory, tapos new project. Okay, there. Tapos kunyari maglalagay ako dito ng directory name FINSTAD K31. Okay, or sabihin kong, sige, FINSTAD K31. Okay, and then here, but dito niya ilalagay sa ano ko sa default ko na na working directory, no? Okay, and then if I create project, okay. And then if I go guys to my to my working directory. So my working directory is our projects. Tingnan nyo guys. Nag-create siya dito ng ano. Nag-create siya dito ng project, no? Ito. Okay, so you notice guys, may laman kaagad siya, no? May laman kaagad siya na FINSTAD K31 .r project, which is this one, no? Ito 'yon, no? Ito 'yon. So, paki-review nyo guys yung kung paano mag-create ng ano, ng projects, no? Kasi ang gagawin natin, iba't ibang topics tayo, no? Kunyari next week, ggplot2 na tayo. So dapat mag-create tayo ng project called ggplot2 so that lahat ng mga files na gagamitin natin, notebook man o R Markdown man, ando dun sa ggplot2 na yon. Tapos next lesson, kunyari deployer, no? Okay, data wrangling, structured query language. So create na naman tayo ng panibagong project. So dun lahat ng mga files na ano na ilalagay natin dun, automatically isi-save dun for data wrangling for structured query language. Okay? I hope that's clear to you guys, no? So importante guys yung concept ng project, no? Project folder. And always guys, ilalagay natin siya dun sa working directory natin. Okay? Ang working directory ko guys is yung R projects, di ba? So ito lahat ng mga projects ko andi dito, no? Andi dito yung mga projects ko. Actually, bagong working directory na to eh. Kasi dati yung working directory ko, saan na yun? Ito, our work there, no? So, marami na rin akong ano dyan, marami na rin akong projects dyan, no? Etc. But what's important guys is yung saving, yung filing, yung organization ng files natin. That's very important. Minsan, biglang nagloloko yung ano natin guys, yung nagloloko yung machine natin. Ilang beses nangyari sa akin yun guys, hindi ko linagay sa isang project, tapos biglang nawala biglang nawala yung R file na ginagawa ko. Wala na, hindi ko na marirecover yon. But if it's in a project guys, automatically nagsisave yan. So kahit na kunyari mag-brown out tapos mawala yung file, ando doon yan sa working directory natin, dun sa project file natin. So let me repeat guys, yung R projects, this is a working directory. Tapos dyan sa loob na yan, dyan natin ilalagay yung mga projects natin. Okay? So I hope that's clear, no? All right, so going back to our file. Okay na to. Okay, so if you take a look at this file guys, tingnan nyo to, no? Project none. Bakit ganyan? Kasi ibig sabihin na itong sinend ko sa inyo na file, hindi ko siya sinave sa isang project. Okay? So dapat to sinave ko dun sa sa FINSTAD na folder, no? If I do that later on, makikita nyo na under this project. And that's very important kasi pag ando dun siya sa kunyari ito, no? FINSTAD K31. Okay, you can easily access guys. Yun ang kagandahan guys kapag nakaano tayo, no? Kapag linalagay natin sa isang project, it's very easy to open, no? Yan. Andiyan yan, lahat ng mga projects guys nakalagay dito. It's documented here. So that you don't have to close this, punta pa kayo ulit sa isang folder kung saan doon yung file. Andi dito na yan, naka-document na yan kasi naka-project siya. So this is one advantage guys, no? This is one of the advantage of having it in a project. Okay, so let's go back here guys. Okay, so nawala na yung isa kong ano. Oh, yan ang disadvantage guys. Nawala yung isang R file ko na hindi ko kasi sinave sa project, no? Ako nang balinagay yan. Okay, wait. Nandun na siya sa But it's now already in nasa trial na ba siya? Hindi, wala. So nawala yung file ko. Yan, yung isa sa nangyayari yan guys kapag ano. Ito, let me see. Wala siya, no? Ibig sabihin hindi ko siya ginawang project. So sinave ko lang siya. So this is a mistake of mine, no? Ang ginawa ko guys, sinave ko lang siya dito, no? Sinave ko lang siya dito sa FINSTAD K31. Okay, sinave ko lang siya dito, no? Hindi ko siya linagay sa working directory ko, hindi ko siya linagay under a project. So when I do that guys, kung kunyari kung saan ko lang sinisave yung R Markdown ko, yan, project na, no? Kaya hindi ko siya na-access kanina, no? Okay, so I will have to put this in a project folder. All right, so let's go back here. I hope guys clear yung clear yung pag-create ng pag-set ng working directory nyo. Okay, for me I prefer setting my working directory sa desktop para madali kong ma-access. And then I would create projects dun sa working directory ko na yun. Okay, I would create projects inside that working directory so that I can easily access. Okay, tapos ano pa siya, yung pag kunyari something happens, automatically naka-save yun dun sa natin sa project folder. Okay, so that's a very good advantage that will save you from headaches later on. Kunyari 500 rows na yung nagawa nyo, tapos biglang nag-brown out, tapos nawala yung document nyo, hindi siya na-save. Wala na yung 500 codes nyo, 500 rows. Okay, so let's continue guys. No? So in R, you can create objects. So ito, ginawa natin to last time. We're creating an object called A. Okay, and the value of that A is 1. Let's run that. So what happens guys, it will appear in the global environment, no? A. So may object tayo na A, ang pangalan A, ang value niya 1. Okay, notice it did not print here sa script natin, no? If we want it printed, sabi mo, di ba? Either you type A again. Oh, sorry. A. Okay. What would have happened if I just type capital A and then run this? Ano mangyayari? Error, no? Object A not found. Kasi case sensitive si R. No? Okay, so dapat A yan. Oops. Dapat A. If I run this, yan, lumabas yung value ni A. No? Okay, yun. Pati sa console lumabas. Or if I don't want to write this, which is just the same as print A, pareho lang yan, no? If I run that, print A, ganun din, no? If I don't want to run this, gusto ko diretso na i-print na kagad, I put this in parentheses, no? There. Yun. 1. Okay? And then, we can ask for, ano ba yung class ni A? So, A is numeric. Bakit numeric? Di ba ang A is 1, di ba? So, numeric siya. Okay? And then we can have a sub-classification. Okay. Type of A is double. Ibig sabihin, decimal place. Right? So, dinidistinguish pa ni R between yung numeric at saka yung double. Okay, how about this B? Notice my L siya. So it's 3, di ba? 3. And class of B is integer. Kasi may L siya dito. Okay? Pause muna ako for a while, guys. Clear ba so far? Kindly please. Kindly chat naman kung clear tayo so far. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Okay, now, if you can see here, guys, in our environment window, andito na si B, no? And it's defined as 3L. All right. So there are other data types. Date is a very important data type in finance. We will look at that in greater detail as we move along. Okay. So data types may be combined to form data structures. So pag kinumbine natin yung data, no? Kunyari, a set of numeric values. Pag pinagsama-sama natin yan, guys, then we have what we call a data structure. An example of a data structure is an atomic vector. Okay, anong ibig sabihin atomic vector? Isang klaseng data lang. Kunyari, let's create an object called B. No? Let's call it C. Alt minus. Tapos si C is, let's say, 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Pag rinang natin to, okay, C, yan, 1 to 10. This is an example of an atomic vector. Bakit, guys? Bakit? Kasi pag tingnan natin yung class niya, class ni C, diba? Integer yan, diba? Integer siya, 1 to 10. So this is what we call a vector. Vector of integers, vector of numbers. Pwede ring D. Okay, we can have ano ba yung may functional letters? Yan, may functional letters, no? Wait. Sandali. Pag ganyan, guys, kunyari nakakalimutan ko yung isang function, I would use, remember this, yung question mark na to. Okay. So letters, the 26 lowercase letters of the Roman alphabet. Okay, so sample ng function niya. Example. Iba example na dito, no? Letters at letter 20 lower. Yeah. How do we run this? I forgot the letters number. Ayun, okay, yun. Okay, letters lang. Wala, linagyan ko kasi kanina ng parentheses. No? Okay, so let's create this object D, alt minus, and then letters. And then D. Okay, so this is a vector, guys, kasi it contains several items, no? And the items are all of the same type. Okay, in fact, if we ask class ni D, so that's character, no? Or type of D, pareho lang yan. Okay, character siya. So this is what we call an atomic vector. Pinagsama-sama natin several letters. Okay, so that's what we call a vector, specifically an atomic vector, which holds only data of a single data type. Okay. All right, so ito yung tinignan natin kanina, guys, yung class, yung type, mode, names, no? Ano naman yung names? Yung length. So let's try that. Names. What can we find in D? Okay, names in D, but bakit daw null? Let's look at the others. Names ni B. Null din, no? Names ni C. Bakit null siya, guys? Bakit null siya? Now, names will be reserved, guys, for what we call data frames. Ano yung data frames? Parang table siya ng values. Tapos may ano siya, may example, guys, no? Let's highlight yung, 'di ba, yung cars na data. Naalala niyo to? Diba? Ito yung cars na data, no? Okay, so this is a data set that comes with R. Okay, so ito guys, si cars, if you ask, anong class to? Anong class si cars? So it's what we call a data frame. Okay, later on guys, titingnan natin, kasi data frame is a type of data structure. No? So ito yung mga data structure, may vector, may list, may matrix, may arrays, may factors, may data frame. Okay. As far as we're concerned, ito yung pinaka-importanting data frame. Ito yung pinaka-importanting data structure, yung data frame. Kasi it contains rows and columns. Okay? Rows and columns. Tapos yung columns, guys, may mga pangalan, may mga variable names siya. So, if I type here names ni cars, yun, lalabas, yung variable name. No? Speed at saka distance. So, kanina, inano natin yung name ni object A. Wala, kasi wala, ano lang yan eh, di ba? It's just this is just a unit vector lang. Isang ano lang yan. Tapos wala namang pangalan yung variable na yung object na 1 dito. Ganun din yung sa integers kanina, yung kay C, yung 1 to 10. Ganun din yung kay D, no? They're just atomic vectors. Pero si cars, kasi data frame siya, tapos may pangalan yung mga yung mga columns siya, no? So it's the speed and the distance. So that's what we mean by names, no? How about yung length? Length, for example, ano yung length ni D? Yan. Kung ilan, no? Length ni D is 26. Ilan yung length ni cars? Okay, 2. Bakit 2? Bakit hindi 50? Okay? Length ni cars kasi you're taking a look at the variables here. Dalawang variables. Okay? And then yung structure later on, sige, tingnan natin structure ni structure ni cars. Okay, so structure, sasabihin sa atin guys, anong klaseng anong klaseng structure? So this is a data frame. Okay, there are 50 observations with 2 variables. Tapos in-identify niya, okay, $speed. Ibig sabihin nito, yung variable na speed, ito yung mga laman niya, no? Tapos yung variable na distance, ito yung mga laman niya. Okay, so that's what the structure function gives us, no? And if you take a look guys at structure ni A. Okay, di ba? It's just a numeric lang siya. Okay, numeric data lang siya. Tapos number 1 siya, no? Structure ni D, yung mga letters. Okay, character siya na 26 yung elements. So yun ang that's what we mean by time na pala. Sorry. Sorry guys, my apologies. Oo, sorry Angel, tama ano na. Hindi ko napansin na 10:49 na pala. All right, so let's stop here guys. I'm going to stop now. Okay, stop recording.